Everyone, my name is SurrealBelief, and welcome back to another multiplayer battle featuring blood and gore and tokshen. Hey, tokshen.
Hello, how's it going, everybody?
It's going all right. I mean, I am the everybody here, but I suppose that you're actually meeting the audience, the viewers. But anyway, here we are right now. I'm playing as the Empire. Tokshen's playing as Bretonia. I'll kind of quickly go over my build right now. I brought in a bunch of swordsmen. I brought in, I believe, 4 halberds, right? I brought in 2 outriders and a demigryph knight group with a Luminarch of Heesh, because in the patch, they were buffed up. Now, unfortunately, the current battle map that we're on doesn't really facilitate that very well, but I wanted to try it. What about you, tokshen?
I brought in my peasant army consisting of 4 peasant bows. We have some spearmen, some man-at-arms. We have King Lewin Leon Kerr and a damsel as well. And then I put a vanguard group of the mounted yeomen off in the forest at the beginning of the battle that are now about to be engaged by great swords, because this is a few minutes into it. You want to describe what's been happening?
Well, we haven't really had too much been going on here. I mean, they brought in all of their cav way over here on this side of the map. If I had a drawing tool, I would show you. But on the left flank of tokshen's army, they all went there. And I tried to run there because we wanted to corner them. Then they ran back. Then they ran back over here to the top, or to the bottom left corner, way down here. And that's basically been it. We've been trying to get into position. I believe I began to try to use my outriders because I thought that maybe they would be pretty good to use. They are, I'm just not that good at using them, but right now I'm engaging them in the woods and trying to do a little bit of damage. They have a lot more cav. I believe they have multiple groups of demigryph knights, and the dwarf player, I didn't really get to look at him too much.
The dwarf player mostly just had a bunch of miners. They had like 3 cannons that are grudge throwers, sorry. And I think you took a couple of them out before this recording even started with your cannon and your Luminarch.
Right, yeah. The Luminarch of Heesh is a lot more accurate now. Now keep in mind, it is fragile as hell, but let me tell you, I know that eventually I did hit a light wizard. I don't know if it happened quite yet, but I did a lot of damage to him. I was tempted to bring 2, but I'm glad I did not, because that would have gone very poorly.
In this map, probably, but in a flat map, I think Luminarch of Heesh is going to be in the meta. I don't talk about meta often, but I think it's going to definitely... Well, no, what? No. Get out of here.
You're all about the meta now. Alright, sorry, go on.
But yeah, on flat maps, you gotta watch out for your generals. If you see a Luminarch of Heesh, you can't go anywhere near it. It has a range of 300, so stay away from it, because they're gonna snipe you out of the air or off the ground. They are super accurate now.
That is correct. I also did shoot out a gyrocopter in the air with it, and it was pretty great to watch. Now, that happened in the very beginning, the very start. The dwarf player, as usual, let them go ahead on their own, which I don't know why a player would ever do that, but they often do that. But right now, we've got 1 cannon group gone. Surprisingly, I mean, they had a lot more long-range stuff going on, but we were able to really put the smackdown on. And the entire time, I was a little bit worried about the fight. They had a lot of cav, a lot of great swords, and I had a lot of low-tier stuff, and I didn't really get to use my Heesh as I wanted to use them. And they were shooting me a lot the entire time. But we're beginning to engage now. At least I am on the right flank as I begin to have my swordsmen charge in. Thankfully, they had a bunch of spearmen, which my swordsmen can easily beat, which is not a big deal.
And yeah, as you said, they had a lot of ranged components, but for the first like 4 minutes of this battle, they were moving from the right side, our right side, kind of towards the left and the center. And the entire time, we were just sniping them with trebuchets and Surreal's great cannon and Luminarch of Heesh. So they actually kind of wasted a lot of their range potential. Yeah,
they did. And we actually did have a lot more multiplayer battles that we did record, but the patch came out, and that was a big patch. That actually destroyed all of my saves and all of that, and I had to rebuild my campaigns, and that's why we haven't really been showing multiplayer videos, because I have been a little bit preoccupied. But we're back now. You should see at least 1 a day again, and if there's like any type of crazy build that you want us to try, within reason, then we will definitely try that. I know tokshen is a more experimental one here, though.
I do like to experiment with things that I think are mostly bad. I don't like to actually spam out good units, because what's the fun in that? You know, because people suggest, like, why don't you do the kitten knight build? And the kitten knight build is you just spam a bunch of demigryph knights. I'm like, that's not fun.
That is not fun at all.
Overpower.
And we have dealt with a few cheesy players. Like, unfortunately, you won't see those battles because they were before the patch was out. But like, we had a guy going for that typical crypt horror build. I mean, now they're nerfed, so they won't be as strong. But yeah, we had a guy do that twice, and that was actually very effective. I mean, we won, but still, it was very effective.
Man, the Death Star build, which is the Crypt Horror and Cannon Wraiths, may actually be worse now, because the can race physical resistance got buffed in the last patch up to 80%, and regeneration in general got buffed, as well as the invocation of Nehek, which all of those are key components to the Death Star, and I continue to see it used. And even if you hit it with fire magic, which Cryptors are weak to, they still can usually survive it now, which is kind of crazy.
My name is Tokshen. I don't believe in the meta, but I know their names.
I know their names because I fight against them every single day. I'm like, oh, here's a vampire account. What are they going to do? Oh, look, it's a Death Star build. Oh, okay. Way to go, buddy. They're so boring. It's so boring to fight. Anyway, that's not what's going on in this fight. What's going on in this fight is Outriders are shooting their guns. Demigryph Knights are fighting other knights. They're all bloody because of the Blood and Gore DLC, which you have to pay for because... What's the official reason CA says you have to pay for it?
Oh, alright. So, initially, they were like, oh, well, we don't want an M rating. Then the young people can't buy our video games. But then, later on a Facebook post, they were like, well, our art team did work for this, addition to the game, and they need to be compensated accordingly. And then I was like, okay, well, they could have added in some actual killing animations, not just like a tornado of blood.
I would love it. And you know what? The $3 would have been justified if they did add kill animations to the Blood and Gore DLC. That would have been amazing.
Right. Like, I want to watch a sword, like, actually connect with a neck, not just it kind of, like, pop out of place and fall on the ground, which is hilarious to watch. It's actually pretty comical, but I feel like the least work has been done in Warhammer Total War in terms of the animations entirely. Because, I mean, other games I felt like had a lot more going on. Maybe not Napoleon and Empire, because I mean they use guns, but still there's a lot more going on for Shogun 2 and even Rome 2.
Yeah, I really liked Shogun 2 when you see the two people just kind of square off and they just fight it out, like the swords are clashing with each other. Like, that was pretty cool. Why can't we have at least some of that going on here?
At least with a Lord, right? I mean, like, if they did that for the Lords alone, that would potentially at least keep the cost down and be very cool to watch, because, I mean, they are such a big part of the game that, of course, you want your Lords to look cool, and I'm watching you right now shoot the Quarrelers big time. We usually talk about the game a little bit more, but, hey, we can segue if we want to. It's a free country, I think.
Sorry, I guess I just wanted to talk about the patch and how I want this game to be better, because I like this game, so I want to see improvements. And yeah, the Lord fights... I'm sure you've seen some on both of our channels. All it is they're basically hitting the ground and kind of reacting to the shockwave from it. There should definitely be a whole different set of animations when their lords or heroes are fighting each other. That would have been great!
Right.
That would have been amazing! And it's a lost opportunity. Or maybe that's going to be DLC. Lord fighting animation DLC. Because, you know, they need to be paid for their work on the game.
Right.
Not saying I'm aggravated at the DLC.
No, not you. I mean, there's people who would be, but you're not one of those people, man. You're not here to rag. Right now, I shot their Lord almost point blank. He's beginning to run back a little bit. His Demigryph Knights are beginning to charge at me. My Great Cannon crew, they were champions, man. I mean, keep in mind, they had a lot more going on in terms of range than my one crew. I mean, they have 2 cannons left, but they continue to fight, like, I believe, nearly till the very end. My Luminarch of Heesh ran out of magic missiles or whatever that you want to call them. And I'm beginning to wrap things up over here. I was very shocked about it, but I kind of entangled them. They ended up not charging. What you need to do when you have a lot of cav, you need to cycle your charges over and over and over. If they're not charging, they're not doing their fucking part. Oh, pardon me. Anyway, let's go on.
You're getting really impassioned about that. But
yeah,
you are very correct. You should not leave cav in a fight longer than the charge bonus lasts, which I believe is 30 seconds. After that, try to get him out of there and cycle the charge again. At the max, 30 seconds.
I actually did not know that. Wow, you keep teaching me things, man.
Well, that's what I was told. I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure it's 30 seconds is the charge bonus length.
Right now, Ungrim is not dying, which is not a shocker.
Yeah, so in every single fight, most of the time when there's an Ungrim involved, everything else is going to rout and shatter, but not Ungrim. He will fight to the bitter end, and he actually gets stronger when he's closer to death, just like all of the Slayers are. But we do eventually get him with the King Leon Kerr.
Oh, not there yet, though. Right, because he got knocked... Oh, wait, no, he finally broke. Okay, cool. Or he finally died, whatever. Well, that was a battle. Yeah, that was not our normal battle. I definitely want to avoid that map again to let you know the map name is Bordello. Avoid it at all costs. It's really not a very enjoyable map because you're going to... like spend half of your game trying to maneuver because the map is so big and there's hills and there's swamps and crap like that. So you're gonna have people who camp, and Tokshen and we often fight people who camp or who like to keep back, whereas like we like to charge in and go ahead. So maps like that are usually kind of a pain in the neck to play.
Yes, because in the first 5 minutes, and again, we cut it out because it was just kind of boring to watch the movie armies move, the enemy was just sitting back on the hill, like Surreal said, and if we were to charge them, we would be charging through the water and just getting sniped by grudge throwers, cannons, and then getting downhill charges from the Demigryph Knights. Like, that wasn't really a tactical option. But eventually they did kind of get pulled off the mountain, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, I'll go over what was going on for me real quick. Now, my general took a lot of damage and didn't really get to fight, but I couldn't really move him. They had too many Demigryph Knights. I would have easily have taken him out. My swordsmen beat their spearmen in a very easy manner. My halberds were out there being shot up, and that is really where they lost a lot. I know that I was able to entangle a few of their Demigryph Knights and their Knights too. My own Knights and my own Demigryph Knights I felt like were a lot more cost effective than what they had going on. I mean, if we look at what they got in terms of kills, the Reichsguard barely got any kills. The Demigryph Knights did okay, but they probably could have done a lot better. If you're going to spend most of your money on Cav, then you want them to do a lot better. He was using a lot of things at various points, but not all together. When you fight, you have to micromanage all together, or you're not going to be able to go to the very end and win your match. My Luminarch of Heesh, very cool, and I want to use it again. I definitely like it a lot more now. Unfortunately, not the best map for it, or the best type of build to fight. Now, if we were fighting, like, let's say, dwarves or things like that, where they're a little bit more stationary, then that would not have been as hard. My Outriders, I could have done better with my micromanagement, but there's a lot going on, and my Great Cannon did very well. What about you, Tokshen?
For me, the King is MVP, as he is in every single fight, because he's the King. I love the King. He got 74 kills in this game, and my Paladin even got 73 kills, but I was fighting mostly miners. The Dwarven player went a mostly miner build. They do have some long beards as well and a couple Corlers. They even had a Thunder. I didn't even really notice. But yeah, my Man-at-Arms did all really exceptionally well. I'm kind of surprised they even managed to kill that many. Peasant Bowman also did really well, and my Trebuchets only got 20 plus kills. That's not the best, but I did have...
But you were shooting cannon, right?
I was shooting cannon, and then I was trying to shoot the cav that was threatening your right flank, the Demigryph Knights. So maybe a couple of those Demigryph Knight kills. And my Mounted Yeoman, I've never been super impressed with them, but in this fight, they did get to... I don't know if I showed it, but they did get to distract Demigryph Knights from charging Surreal's Great Cannon at some point, so they held them in place. So I sacrificed them for the greater good, which I'm a believer in.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with my Peasant Army build. Yeah. I'm surprised it's as effective as it is. Filthy peasants.
Well, because like you just have a bunch of tools to really take on any real target. I mean, like if they have a large creature, they're going to charge at you, but you'll be able to stop them. If they have a bunch of lightly armored things, your bowmen will stop them, and your heroes are really, really good too. But we're going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you for watching. Check out our channels down below, and look forward to more multiplayer content.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day.